Function of an integrating sphere. An integrating sphere is an optical component consisting of a hollow spherical cavity with its interior covered with a diffuse white reflective coating, with small holes for entrance and exit ports. Its relevant property is a uniform scattering or diffusing effect. Light rays incident on any point on the inner surface are by multiple scattering reflections distributed equally to all other points. The effects of the original direction of light are minimized. An integrating sphere may be thought of as a diffuser, which preserves power but destroys spatial information. It is typically used with some light source and a detector for optical power measurement, such as the Konica Minolta cameras we use in the lab. A few examples of tests which can be carried out by the integrating sphere are: number 1, the total power flux of a light source. Number 2, reflection and absorption of samples. Number 3, to provide a photometric standard by creating a reference radiation source. Number 4, the total light radiated in all directions of the lamp. Parts and components. Lining of the sphere. The optical properties of the lining affects accuracy. Different coatings are used for visible, infrared, and ultraviolet wavelengths. One point that should be taken into consideration is to avoid using high-powered light sources, as it might damage the lining. There are two types of coating in the lining. One of it is barium sulfate and polytetrafluoroethylene used for visible light measurements. Secondly, another type of coating is a finely deposited gold for infrared measurements. Ports. They are openings for light to exit or enter. It is used for detectors and light sources, which must be small, around 5% lesser than the surface area of the sphere. Unused ports must be plugged to prevent light from leaking in or out. Baffles. They are obstacles placed in front of the light source to block a direct path of the light into the detector. It prevents an inaccurate measurement, since a direct path of light into the detector will have a non-uniform distribution. Camera / photo detector. They are measuring instruments which can be interfaced with a PC to display different types of data. Example, a spectrum graph, and etc. The camera filter and lens must be fitted nicely into the port of the integrating sphere. This is to prevent light from leaking. Light source. There are different kinds of light source, for example, tungsten, LED, and etc. Lamps can be used, but each must be wired accordingly and placed in the proper position. Terminals for lamps. There is an auxiliary lamp terminal, which is used to power up an external lamp source. There are also two other terminals, which is the lamp power and lamp sensor terminals, which are used for other functions. The procedure of using an integrating sphere. First, connect the lamp terminals to the positive and negative side of the light source. Second, connect the DC power supply in independent mode to a variable resistor and an ammeter, and finally to the lamp terminals. Third, you have to take precaution by checking the power rating of the light source before turning on setup. Number 4. Turn on the setup and adjust the voltage and current dials on the DC power supply. Once the light source is dimly lit, close the integrating sphere. And lastly, 6. Increase the voltage at suitable intervals and at each interval take a reading from the camera.